from Corner to Corner Podcast. This is only what it is today because of the help of our amazing community partners such as Jacobs Auto Body, Kentucky Realty Group, and CRC Roofing and Renovations. We would like to give special thanks to Community Trust Bank, the sponsor of our Community Trust Bank studio, Kimsoft, the sponsor of our Athlete of the Week program, Tutu's Sweet Treats, the sponsor of our Dog of the Week, Brent Wehunt's Kentucky Farm Bureau, the sponsor of our Menifee Athlete of the Month program, Win City Sports Cards, the sponsor of our Coaches Corner, and Ketwell Commissary and Simply Secured, co-sponsors of our roadshow. And now, on with the show.
And Adam, I'm kind of trying to share in your same success.
You can't.
Because, the Bears finally moved on from Eberflus. But I don't have confidence that the Bears will hire somebody that will do the job.
Because the Bears screw it up every time.
They're already talking about Cliff Kingsbury.
Well, he has done a good job with Andy was with Caleb Williams. He knows Caleb Williams. Cliff Kingsbury wouldn't be a bad one.
West Virginia's not going to screw it up. Do you know why?
They got Coach Saban leading the way. Pat McAfee's money is leading the way.
That's it right there. That's the person that's going to lead the way to make sure that they get a good hire.
And look, West Virginia has success of hiring coaches. Rich Rod was a great coach.
Do you think he regrets leaving?
100%.
Has to, right?
Yes. Rich Rod.
Because his talk about the country roads, he's taking that long country road to try to get back to where that was. Because he's never had that success since, other than now at Jacksonville State.
He was
from
good.
Alabama.
He was good at Arizona for a couple years.
He was all right, yeah.
He wasn't West Virginia good, though.
No, but at West Virginia, his signature was beating Georgia in the Sugar Bowl. Then, after Rich Rod, you get Bill Stewart. What's Bill Stewart do? He beats Oklahoma in the Fiesta Bowl.
Bill Stewart?
Yes.
Who's Bill Stewart?
You don't know Bill Stewart?
He was the West Virginia coach? I got an uncle named Bill Stewart.
Never forget. Let him know. Leave no doubt tonight. Gosh almighty. I'll send you the clip.
Okay.
After him, you get Dana Holgerson. Hangs 70 on Clemson in the Orange Bowl. West Virginia gets it right more times than they don't. Neil Brown, sorry, buddy. Go be coach at East Jessamine. You're not cut out for West Virginia.
Yeah.
And he's gone again.
So that Liberty coach is going to be the one taking the West Virginia job.
No. Like I said, Pat McAfee means all the world to them. From where
he probably drive the NIL too.
Oh, there's no doubt about it. I mean,
dude's got to the point now he's handing out $1 million for a kick on Saturday mornings on College Game Day.
I mean, just the connections that he has now with what he's done with his podcast, and now with ESPN and on College Game Day, and sitting right beside Saban. I mean, they're going to make a great hire.
SmackDown.
True.
I mean, he was a very unknown punter, and he has become a national treasure, as Adam likes to call them.
I don't know about unknown.
I mean, he's a punter.
So?
Or he was a punter. I mean,
field goal.
Yeah, but he had his.
Thank God, because I mean, field goal kickers suck.
I mean, he had his flair about him to where they were like, okay, here comes McAfee. Let's see what he can do this time. He was the only punter that anybody ever talked about, really.
And that's still the truth.
I mean, he caught the eye of the Bob and Tom show, which is in Indianapolis.
Right.
Yeah.
While he was still playing.
Right.
So that's where he got his kind of showbiz start.
And he did some stand-up comedy. So I love Pat McAfee. I think he's hilarious.
Oh, he's great.
So, and I mean, you never know what he's going to do. And it's really good because you look at College Game Day and you see Pat McAfee and Nick Saban, and I can't help but think Neil Payne and Sean Kiper, because you never know what Neil's going to say, and I'm the one always going shaking my head.
This is very true.
Is it not crazy, though, that we've gone from, all right, you got Central Bank Center, Kroger Field, Lucas Oil Stadium. Now we're down to Chip Gaines put up all the money for the Baylor coach to come back to Baylor. You're talking about Pat McAfee putting up money for a coach at West Virginia. Now it's these single celebrities that are funding
Dave Portnoy and
Michigan.
and you got that Underwood kid to go to Michigan.
Yeah.
It wasn't all Dave Portnoy, but there was like a big donor who went to college there, and her husband is rich, and they got on a conference call, her and Portnoy and the Underwood kid, and basically is like,
What do you want?
what's the number?
But
You
you
know?
have an NIL system that's supposed to be meant to endorse these kids for the products they're wearing on the court. And
Hey,
it's turned into this donor can throw as much money as they want.
It's
at
a
'em.
fake name for something that has transpired forever. I sent a TikTok to them earlier about the old movie Blue Chips. You remember that movie
Yep.
with
Yep.
I mean, that was like 1992.
Bought his daddy a tractor.
Yeah. So like it's always happened. It's just the official name for it now.
For now.
Yeah, for now.
They
Salary cap's
Portnoy and this guy and anybody else that's trying to get people to go, so they're trying to do that right now because within the next year or two,
Isn't that when that
April-
20 million cap hits or something?
April 9th, 2025. That is the court date for the decision the judge is going to make.
that's pretty impressive. I didn't even know that there was a court date,
Yep.
and Adam has it memorized.
That surprises you?
$22 million
I'm
is
not
the,
surprised at all.
$22 million is the projected revenue.
And this is the guy we go
Which
to
is-
a game on Friday night, and he goes,
Which is
okay,
why-
so, and then he names the whole freaking team out.
Which is why you're seeing these teams like Woj went to
St. Bonaventure.
St. Bonaventure's,
Andrew
and
Luck is
Andrew
back at
Luck just went to Stanford. They're putting these guys in there as GMs
But,
to take care of the
Right.
salary cap.
A lot of these schools have went to that the last few years. Alabama has a GM for their football team, and I think of the $22 million, $8 million is going to be set aside just for football only.
That seems light.
Right, but you got to think. I'm sure Brent Underwood's how we got on the Portnoy
Yes.
conversation. He got $10 million. There's going to be a cap on it. So whether you're a quarterback at Michigan or you're a quarterback at Alabama or Western Kentucky, quarterbacks are going to pay from X amount of dollars to X amount of dollars. So you can divide that $8 million however you want it.
So is that going to be a good thing?
I think it'll be better than this. You cut the shady agent crap out of the way.
I agree with that completely. 100%. Get the handlers the hell out of the way.
I mean, there was the guy from Florida that got drafted by the Bears, and they dug into his contract. He sued the agent, rightfully so. But it was like 25% of his career earnings, not just his time at Florida. 25% career earnings was owed to that agent.
Oh, that
And
was.
he didn't get, I mean, like he was broke.
Yes.
So I guess my question is now that there's going to be a salary cap, supposedly, if there is a salary cap,
Supposedly.
is there going to be any different than when there was nothing and then you just recruit?
No.
Is Alabama going to have more money than
No.
San Jose State?
$22 million is the revenue.
In the,
$8 million.
in the grand scheme of things, they probably will, because can San Jose State come up with 22 million?
It goes by your revenue, and it goes by that number as a whole. So more likely, what you're going to have is these non-revenue producing sports are going to be cut from colleges. They're going to be the casualty instead of like a football team suffering. Football team will go 6-6 just to keep ends meet, but the gymnastics program might get cut.
So
or
you're
the tennis team might get cut.
So you're saying the Power Four will have more money than all the rest of the
Big
conferences?
Ten and SEC will have more than anybody because it goes by TV revenue, and their deals are
Right.
astronomical.
Right, exactly. Interesting.
So in the grand scheme of things, yes, the bigger schools are going to have more money. The smaller schools are not.
So going back to my question, is it going to be any different? Kentucky,
Is a
Vanderbilt.
SEC program.
some of these lower can still get a decent quarterback, running back, however you want to do it, through the transfer portal, or by recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
That, to me, that doesn't. We're just going back to where it was. They're just getting paid, but you're going back to right where it was when Alabama was number one on the recruiting rankings every year, because it's Alabama.
Going by Adam's logic, I think they have a better chance of getting one, because you're not going to see that quarterback at.
Here's the difference, though.
San Jose State or one of these other conferences.
Right. I mean, they wouldn't go there anyways when there was no money at all.
Look, y'all are missing the big picture, though. Why would a player go to Alabama and only get, let's say, $8 million, make $650,000 to be a backup quarterback, when he can go to a Nebraska, Iowa State, and get $2.1 million to be the starter? And the transfer portal still exists.
Which is kind of how Dylan Raiola wound up in Nebraska. He was going to be the backup at Georgia,
right?
But he's starting as a true freshman.
So your 5 stars,
they're going to
go anywhere. They're going to go wherever, anyways. But you're just talking about somebody that might go, knowing that they're going to be Alabama picks 2 quarterbacks in a recruiting class. That one's going to wait until their junior or senior year to play. That you're saying that person goes somewhere else,
to play automatically, and then they'll cash in on their second check.
Yeah, because they can go play at Marshall for 2 years and then come back to Alabama as their junior and walk right into the starting lineup.
The other thing I noticed that, and I guess that's
which, I mean, look at all the kids that have flipped in the last 3 or 4 days. Sorry.
Well, that's for different reasons. That's not money. They still could get money at wherever they're at, but their coach is leaving,
Missouri State
or there's
laws,
things that are falling apart at certain schools.
Missouri State laws are a little different than Kentucky's, though. Missouri State laws promotes NIL. Like, that's in state legislation that they can negotiate as congressmen and women. They can negotiate.
When Cal was here, I mean, that was the one thing that Cal and Stoops saw eye to eyes. They went to Frankfurt and said, "Get it done. Get it done now." But I don't know my point of what I was going to say. So when a salary cap hits, they'll get paid each year. This Underwood kid, if I'm not mistaken, I saw that it is.
It's 10.5 for 3 years. I believe.
Oh, I thought I saw it for 4.
Was it 4?
But I mean, he may not be there for 4 years.
Right. Yeah. If he cashes out after 3, they'll just prorate it at 3.
Yeah. It's not $10 million per year. It's $10 million.
I just wondered if they would just cut him off and be like, "Well, I mean, if you're going to leave,
no, it's $10 million.
We got to keep that
total over the 4-year stretch." So what is that? Like,
does he come in and start as a freshman next year? He does, right?
Have you seen their quarterbacks?
I mean, you're talking about Michigan.
Yeah, he starts day 1. But like, even that, we hear the big number, $10 million. But like, Sean, bro, it's 4 years. So that's only $2.5 million a year.
Right. That's
that
what
you're playing for a quarterback.
That's the breakdown I saw.
You still got $5.5 million to give to the rest of your roster. Mm-hmm. Nobody's going to get as much money as a quarterback.
Which, again, I'll say it again: good quarterback, good coach, good team. And so that shows.
I would say good quarterback, good D line, good team.
Maybe.
Didn't take long for you to figure out it was cold out there, did it? Thanks, Chris.
By the way, I heard that Liberty coach comment. He is the only people who have put his name even out there are stupid TikTok videos and unknown
and Sean
reporter.
Kiper.
That's it.
Look,
he's going to put it on. He's going to put it on our corner to corner podcast. The Liberty coach is being rumored.
Coaches on the hot seat.
When you name the show, make sure you say Liberty coach headed to West Virginia.
Not a chance.
I will trade you 2 Liberty coaches and a Mark Stoops.
Not a chance.
For anything you got.
Not
all right. So you guys ready to get the show started?
Let's pick games.
We ain't even made it to segment 1 yet.
I know. Somebody went on a tangent.
Okay, no, wait a minute.
Oh, it was.
He just said something that's just going to make me. So you want Stoops gone?
Yes.
Why?
Why?
I think he's done what he's going to do.
Why though?
Don't get me wrong. What he's done for Kentucky football is great.
Did you forget
But
what
now
Kentucky football was?
No, but I know what he has created now. Now, if you want to go back to a losing Kentucky football team, yeah, keep him around. If we want to go backwards in
His
time,
second losing season in how many years?
Well, I mean, this will be the first year in 8 years they haven't been to a bowl game.
I think it's his third because
Third.
the first
His
two
was
were,
bad.
but I mean,
But
he
the
was
schedule-
left with a big pile of
Right.
crap.
But still, 3 losing seasons
but he
in
rebuilt
12
it to
years?
a respectable program, and now it's back to a joke.
What I
It's
don't
not though. It's just a bad portal class.
He missed on the quarterback.
what I don't
Definitely
like.
did
Well,
that
I mean, look
all
at
the way around.
Look at Florida State. They missed on a quarterback. They was playing Cromenhoek the other night, I think, is a true freshman.
What I don't like is that
Still got beat.
they did miss on Brock. There's just no doubt about that. What I don't like,
I think there's a shiny thing in front of him. This is a quarterback from Georgia. He's good enough to play at Georgia. Let's take him.
well, I mean, he was a 5-star
Good enough to sit on the
quarterback
bench.
coming into college though too.
He was, but we've seen on the basketball side, sometimes those ratings are wrong.
Yeah, sure,
And
absolutely.
they were wrong with him.
Yep.
But we've also talked about this numerous times. If you miss on the quarterback, you're done. And you
And
know,
you don't know until it's too late.
and you know, and we sat here last week going, hey, you know, let's see what Cutter's got in him. Well, Cutter didn't do much better, right?
100% he did.
I think Cutter done as good as he.
He's a freshman that played his fourth game, 3.5 game against Louisville. What did he do against Texas? He saw one-on-one opportunities and he threw the ball to those guys. Brock didn't do that.
Here's my thing. Stoops does not know how to finish a game. He does not coach at the end of the game. He
Wow, that sounds like
I
a
know.
former basketball coach.
sounds just
Wait a
like
minute.
somebody
Wait a
else
minute.
I know.
Wait a minute.
Stoops has.
What
your
did he?
team
What
in
did
a
he
lot of
do at
games.
Ole Miss?
He closed the game out.
Well, blind squirrels find acorns every
No,
No. It was a one-point game against
You will
Georgia.
not find more games that Stoops has closed out than he has not.
I would tend to agree
you and
with
I are
that
the two
statement
biggest
because I
Kentucky
think his
fans
clock
in this
management
room.
has not been good his whole tenure here.
That's what I'm saying. His
But
clock
I do
management is
think
horrible.
that there has been a couple of times this year that was kind of like, what's he doing? Oh, that worked. And the biggest problem
When
is
does
I
he
think
do
that there was
He does it in the first half. When he gets down to the second half, he tries to go back to this schoolyard basics crap, and it doesn't work.
supposedly he doesn't touch the offense.
I
Supposedly.
think that he took a step out the door last year, and he didn't get all the way back in the door, and he didn't tie up all the loose strings with the guys that thought that he quit on them. And I think he paid for that this year.
So do you think he's fully back in the door, and with the way he commented after the Louisville game, he can tie everything back up?
I think, and the D coordinator left today.
Nebraska hired Dana Holgerson as offensive coordinator.
He's been there for the last couple of weeks.
He's been a special assistant, but
Anyways, I don't know. I mean, that whole movement parts thing, you never know.
You would agree with me, Daron. The discipline on this team was the worst that we've seen of any of the
Absolutely.
12 teams that he's had, 13 teams that he's had.
I think a lot of that goes back to
and
the
some
fact
of
that he
and
was
some of
walking
that
out the
goes
door.
and so right. I tend to agree with you. I just wonder if he can, get back in the door, as you say, pull up his big boy panties and say, I'm in this for the long run. Let's get this thing going back again.
Part of my frustration with Stoops may just be his revolving door of coordinators.
But
Vince Merrill is the only.
He can't control that.
And I understand that, but I think just about everybody. I know I wasn't on the show then, but I think just about everybody would agree when Liam Cohen come back, that was a short time hire. You knew it was going to be. He didn't want to be here. He came back.
Well,
they didn't want him in the NFL.
But he told him, you've got to at least be here for 2 to 3 years. The second time you come back, and that's uncontrollable.
Yeah. Well,
it's offensive coordinators,
and
because Brad White's been there.
Brad White's been there.
Vince Merrill's been there. His brother's been there multiple years now.
Yeah.
The only other
Harmon was there for a long time.
God rest his soul.
You can't blame him for leaving.
And that's another. That's a big void because, man, he could coach an offensive line. They haven't been able to find that person that can take that and grasp a hold of it like he did. And then John Summerall. But you're right. A revolving door of offensive coordinators has not helped. Can he go out? Can Bush in a second year?
Let me throw this at you. Say he's in, and you go back out next year, and you drop another 3-9 or 4-8 season. Then what happens?
Oh, now if that happens, because look, Barnhart's not going to just let this lay. He's going to bring him in, and he's going to say, hey, we've already lost. A 4-star running back. We've already lost we lost a 4-star running back to Missouri, and we lost a offensive lineman to Clemson that his brother plays on the team now. And it's just the bricks are chipping away, falling apart right now.
I thought it was his 2 brothers. He's had 2 brothers play at UK, right?
He has had 2 brothers. Kratos, yeah.
One is there right now.
Yeah,
though, right.
So I'm sure Barnhart's brought him in and said, "Tell me what you think you're going to do."
So, do you think Mark Stoops would benefit from taking a page out of Mark Pope's playbook instead of finding this up and coming or this offensive coordinator that's trying to make a name for himself? Find somebody that's already established herself, like Pope did with Mark Fox.
I think he thinks he's done that with Bush. I mean, Bush and Brock didn't mesh.
Take a coach that has
Bush and Brock normally don't. Bush and Brick normally.
That's right.
You take a coach.
We need to find somebody with a good last name. Bush and what makes a good combination?
You take a coach that has.
We need somebody with last name Razor.
Clock management skills.
Yeah, right now. Yeah,
find him a seasoned coach that's on his way out. That's just trying to get the last bit of football he's got in him.
I would hate to kick Bush out of the offensive coordinator spot because. I mean, he was pretty good at Boise State.
Neil in here.
So, did you say there's a lot of Bush in here?
No, I said it's a good thing that Neil isn't here.
So, the longer you keep Stoops, though, the reality is you're missing out on the John Summerall sweepstakes.
Mm-hmm.
I would agree with that, but golly, I mean, but
the best thing that can happen
contradicts
is for Stoops
what you've
to leave
said
on his
over and
own.
over and over. Sort of. You said that
I think Mark Stoops is a better coach than John Summerall.
There'd be a lot of people that would disagree with you, but I don't.
Coach, or he has more potential.
Stoops,
yeah,
he is a better coach. Look what he has done to Kentucky football.
Stoops has a lot of potential. He just doesn't have all the pieces. If he can get his closing out games and his clock management throughout the entire game under control, he has the potential to be a good.
There's a lot of coaches that can't do the clock management, even in the NFL. Some get fired because of it.
There's a lot.
Bears.
I mean, there's a lot.
He's taking that time out all the way home.
There's a lot of good coaches that would kill for Mark Stoops' record.
Yeah, I would agree with that.
Mark Stoops is a good football coach.
And I don't disagree with that.
He has elevated Kentucky program to a point they'll never see again.
I told you all last week that people have gotten excited over UK basketball, and then a bad season has followed in the football season, and they're thinking, well, if it worked for basketball, it could work for football.
If they're thinking that, they need to go back and watch Joker Phillips teams. Go back and watch the later Rich Brooks teams.
But you think
'Cause that's not
you,
this.
you think that all these people are upset because Pope has come in and brought the old time this is your team.
No, what I'm saying is Calipari had beaten people down to the point that they had give up on it. And I'm
Okay.
not. Look, we have all said on this show 100 times, they expect more out of UK football than what it will ever be. They're not going to win a national championship. They're not going to win the SEC. It's not going to happen. But if you can go to a bowl game and win 7, 8 games, 9, 10 every now and then, I think most people are happy with that. But you get a bad season based off of following what the excitement of Calipari leaving and Pope coming in and him doing things that Calipari hadn't done in years. It's just an aura about it. And I think that's where a lot of people are coming from. I've brought that point up to several people, and they've all been like, I think I'm just kind of done with Stoops.
Well, those people are idiots.
I think they are too.
I'm just saying.
That's my thing. Is Kentucky football?
Can he
one
bounce
time
back
we were
next
a
year?
2 to 3 win team. And
Who raised the expectations?
If we won 7 to 8 games, then you were the greatest thing there ever was.
6 games.
But now you've got to where you have perennially won 7 to 8, a couple times 10 games.
Right.
So how are you going
And
to
now
fire the
you're
guy for
going
raising the
back
bar? How are you going to fire the guy that raised the bar?
But when the bar starts to go back down,
It doesn't though. 3rd losing season in 12 years.
What was the record last year?
7-5.
Lost to Clemson in the bowl, right?
Right.
Last second. It was last minute anyway.
Yeah, it was.
So 7-6 then.
Yeah, it may have been 8-6. I don't know. Somewhere around in there.
I think it was 8 games last year, 7 year before. 21 was the year we had 10 and vacated all 10.
Daggone Chris Rodriguez.
I mean, yeah, and that's
I think if he stays, I'm not convinced that he is. I don't think that UK is going to fire him.
No.
But
No,
I think there is
because
a
that means that
distinct possibility that Ferentz walks out in Iowa and he gets a phone call.
well, I mean, a phone call, yeah.
After his rough start, which we all said schedule was brutal when he first took over, cupboard was bare. He went 7-6, 7-6, 10-3, 8-5, COVID year, 5-6 if you count COVID. 10-3, 7-6, 7-6 this year, 4-8.
But the second 10-3, you vacated those 10 wins. Not that matters, but you still won 10 ball games. But
Oh, because of Rodriguez.
What did he do?
He was-
He worked at the hospital. In other words, somebody was just filling out his time card and putting it in, and he never
he
showed
was
up.
drawing a paycheck from the hospital and wasn't actually.
So they vacated all those wins because of that?
Well,
Because that had a lot to do with the football field.
They vacated 10 wins
Because it
of
was-
Chris Rodriguez.
in the NIL era, you still have to do a little bit of work. You actually have to show up.
Yeah.
And
You have
what
to
got
fulfill your end of the endorsement.
what got him caught was he was in a car wreck at a time he was supposed to be at work.
Right.
He was badged into work, but was in a car wreck.
Oops.
That was a
DUI.
too.
DUI.
Yes,
Yes,
it was a DUI.
DUI when he was clocked in at the hospital.
Yeah, that's not good.
And
But-
somebody looked at his time card and said, "Hang on now."
I
Man,
do
thank
say
man.
if he comes back,
2022, they were as high as number 7.
I think he's got a lot of pressure on him to win next year.
And see,
He's the winningest coach in Kentucky football history, right?
He passed a coach by the name of Bear Bryant.
Bear Bryant. That's right.
He passed Bear Bryant.
We live in a world of what have you done for me lately?
Yeah,
I mean,
I
look at
understand that.
Billy Napier.
We also live
Billy
in a world
Napier
of I'm
was-
not going to pay you $40 million to leave.
Billy Napier was walking out the door. They were going to
What?
fire him, and then he goes on a winning streak, and then he gets an extension. And
Because his quarterback
Because DJ
stopped
Lagway.
being hurt and started
Yes.
playing like a 5-star recruit.
And now you're
no,
getting
because they
recruits
played
coming.
him. They didn't play him at the beginning of the season.
Because he was hurt.
He got hurt.
at the very beginning.
No,
He
at
got
the
hurt
begin-
twice.
At the beginning, they went Mertz. Mertz struggled. They went Lagway. Lagway played. They win. He got hurt, and then had to sit out. They played the other kid.
You told
Mertz.
you how many times have you
Mertz,
said
and then they brought
he's
him back.
not lost a game when he played the full game because he
5-0.
wasn't hurt?
He's 5-0.
Exactly.
But I'm just telling you, if they don't go on that winning streak, one, Lagway's gone, and two, he's out the door. But fortunes changed. Now they could end the season 8-5 if they win the bowl game.
Which means that
One Lagway's
fortunes
gone, and two, he becomes a new coach at West Virginia.
you just never know
He would have
when
been happy with that.
fortunes can change for Mark Stoops. It just can happen. He can find it. Cutter Boley could come out next year and be that dude because he kind of looked like it against Texas. I mean, Louisville was his first full game.
Cutter Boley as a senior is going to be an amazing quarterback.
Right. And
But as a freshman, Cutter Boley.
The question is Cutter Boley going to be a senior at Kentucky?
I don't think so.
I think he will. He's a Lexington kid.
he's a Lexington kid. He's going to get paid the money because look, the one thing Mark Stoops made a big mistake about was this offseason. He said, "Okay, pony up." And then he didn't pony up. That was a big mistake, and people hold that against him big time.
Yeah.
That's where a lot of this, FUs on Twitter come from. And so he's got to come out this year and be like, I appreciate you all ponying up. It's time for me to pony up now.
Yep.
That would be what he needs to say.
People put that big money into the K Club and all this
Yep,
other stuff.
100%.
And then they see the product on the field.
It would not shock me a bit for him to come out and start 3 or 4-0 next year with a good offseason with Cutter Boley.
So you think Cutter's the starter going into next season?
100%.
Unless they hit the portal. There's no way Cutter Boley's not the starter.
I don't think that I think that saves his job for a while is if Cutter Boley starts out pretty decent next year. That he needs to show. All right, look, I'm gonna go off the recruiting and not worry about the portal. That's kind of burnt us the last 3 times.
Which is where he found his biggest success.
Oh yes, no, I agree. He was a great
Other than Ray Davis. Ray Davis and Wandale Robinson might be the 2 best portal guys that he ever got.
He was a great transfer portal guy, and I don't doubt that he won't do the same thing this year because he's going to have to.
Yep.
Because losing the guy from Cleveland, the running back to Missouri now, and he's going to have to go out and be like, "Hey, come play in the SEC. I know you're good."
You have to take into consideration too. We say losing these guys, but all these teams have got to go down to 105 players now too. So some of these players could be see your way to the door because they got to be what they're losing. They're going from 135 to 105.
I think they're going to. There's no scholarship limits anymore.
But it's 105.
I think it is 105.
There's a roster. There's no walk-ons no more. I've seen the Matt Rules talked all about it and broke it down. There's going to be 30 guys that Nebraska has to say goodbye to because they can't keep them. There's 105 roster spots, 105 scholarships, and that's it. They got the increase in scholarships, but they lost the ability to keep all the walk-ons.
That's coach speak. You can still keep walk-ons. That'd be on scholarship, but with NIL,
I'm just telling you that
you're telling me there's 30 players
multiple times out there that the roster limit is 105.
Right, I'm not arguing
what
that.
He's saying is there's not 105 players on a Kentucky team that you're going to say, you deserve a scholarship.
It's been 85 up until now. Now it's 105.
Right. They're going to go up to 105.
You're going to take 20 of those walk-ons, and you're going to give them a scholarship, and these other guys that probably never even put pads on game day. You're
Well, I
just
mean,
gonna tell them you're a manager. You don't get to.
No, that's not what I'm saying at all. Like, there's 30 players on Nebraska's team that probably make so much NIL money that they don't need a scholarship. You don't put those kids on scholarship. You just put them on their NIL. Boom. They're in the contract with the NIL for at least a year. You get those kids. Now you've got these 30 walk-ons who you were going to cut. They're on scholarship now because these 30 guys are in NIL. They don't need scholarship money.
Which is where the GM comes into play, because he'll make sure that the amount of NIL goes to pay for the school,
Yep.
and then here's your money.
Yep.
Which
So we got to take $20 or $30,000 out, but here's your other $100,000.
you mentioned
Oh, okay.
GM earlier. Something I think we should take credit for. Tawny Beckham sat right there where that blue microphone is, and said, "You're going to see football and basketball programs going to installing GMs." And John
Yeah,
Calipari needs
you're right
to be
about
a
that.
GM, not a coach, and blah blah blah. And
Maybe we need to clip that.
We'll have to go back and find that one. But he
Sound
said
wasn't
right
great on
there
that
and said
show.
that very comment. You're going to start seeing these teams installing GMs instead of head coaches.
Yep.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what happens. I hate it for Kentucky football, but it'll be interesting to see.
Interesting.
Segment 2.
Did we talk about Ryan Day and
Did
his
we talk about
and
planting
his?
flags?
No, we
didn't
never
talk
got
about-
to.
No, we
segment
haven't.
one.
We
Oh.
haven't even talked about planting flags.
Oh yeah,
Rivalry week is what it was supposed to be.
why will we?
Rivalry.
I mean, definitely rule number 1 of college football: do not let your opponent plant their flag on your logo.
I think that's rule number 1 of all football, because there was fights on Sunday too.
You know the NCAA is going to come out with some sort of stupid rule for that not to happen.
Well,
If
they
you
got
do that,
fined they got fined $100,000 a piece.
You know the best way to prevent somebody from planting a flag on your field?
Win,
Win the game.
yeah,
win.
Fight during the game.
right.
Well, they used to have a rule, because I know Kentucky did it. They would have
That's still
Ushers.
that's still a rule.
ushers with yellow rope that would go out there and surround the logo at midfield after the game. Whether they won or lost, they would go out there and stand around the logo where you couldn't get on it.
And how dumb do some of these people have to be when they take a flag and they try to plant it in a turf field, because it ain't gonna plant and it's not gonna stick.
And it's going to hurt.
Yeah, right. Bam.
Well, I mean, what was it? The Aztecs tried to stab their.
You mean the Sun Devils?
Sun Devils
That's what I said.
tried to stab the pitchfork.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not. Well, it's not a pitchfork. What's the?
It is a pitchfork.
It is
It's
pitchfork.
pitchfork.
They're the Sun Devils. It's a pitchfork.
Yeah.
Forks up.
Trident.
That's what I was trying to think of.
It's
Yes.
a pitchfork.
Yeah. So I don't know that, but it didn't work either.
Which camera? are we on?
Oh, it stuck. Because it was in real.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. But that didn't.
Yeah, as far as the fights in the NFL, that wasn't about that. That wasn't no flag planting. That
No,
was
there was
knocking
only
guys
one
out.
fight.
That was protect your quarterback.
And that was an absolute 100%. Oh, well, that guy, Trevor Lawrence, just got his head knocked off. There's going to be a fight.
That was
if
vicious.
If
That
the
was
Jags,
that was completely uncalled for.
if the Jags didn't fight, I'd be worried about their team.
And he had no remorse. Not one shred of remorse.
he
He,
did-
was
he
trying
did
to go with the
apologize.
fans that were throwing stuff at him.
He did apologize today
Today.
or last night. It was one of the.
Because his PR guy said, if you don't do this, they're going to suspend you for 4 games.
I mean,
They should suspend him the rest of the season.
way his daggone last name was, I just thought he yelled Allah Akbar and just went in there creating chaos.
Oh my gosh!
The views and opinions of the rest on this show.
That was going
Are
through my head.
mine.
So Ryan Day has lost his 4th in a row against Michigan. Quite possibly the largest upset ever in that rivalry.
It's happened before. I forget the year, but Michigan was a 27-point underdog, and AJ Hawk talked about it on the McAfee show.
Isn't that what
Last
got
week.
Jim Tressel fired?
No,
or was it John Cooper?
it was the
Cooper.
It was the players getting illegal benefits that got Jim Tressel fired.
Oh, I know one of them lost to Michigan a lot.
Jim
Cooper.
Tressel
And
was
they were like-
players getting what they get now.
It was Cooper, and then
It
Tressel
just
came in
wasn't legal
behind
then.
him.
Yeah,
He had an NIL program before it was legal.
Tressel.
Yeah, and
they were getting
Maurice
tattoos.
Claret's the one that talked about it and got him in trouble.
They were getting tattoos and signing autographs and getting money and all that good stuff.
Yeah. So, obviously Ohio State fans are extremely upset. But I can tell you this, Kentucky fans would probably gladly take the Ryan Day record and success and trade Louisville losses. Would you not?
Every program would.
Right?
Every single program in America
and
would
it's like,
take Ryan Day's record.
If you fire him, you're not replacing him with someone better.
Well, it is Ohio State. They probably could.
Who? Who would be your top guy?
I heard Neil Brown's available.
He said top guy. That would be the bottom guy. Top guy. Trying to think. Kirby Smart's not out of the realm of possibilities. You're Ohio State. You could call Kirby Smart.
But at this point, isn't Georgia to Ohio State, isn't that just a lateral move?
Anything's going to be a lateral move.
Because you're saying, why would he leave Georgia?
Because it's Ohio State. There's no competition in the North like there is the South. None. South.
I wonder
Why
what-
they just lost to the worst Michigan team that they've had in forever.
I wonder what.
He can't coach in a big game. That's his downfall.
I wonder.
Will Howard's his downfall.
I tried to tell you all at the beginning of the season that Will Howard sucked.
Wait,
Kyle McCord.
stop.
They should have stayed with Kyle McCord.
He beat Penn State this year. That was a big game. Don't stop. Don't start saying he can't.
Going to get off the Penn State crap, man. They are not that good.
That they're in that
They're
they're just in
11-1.
They're just in the
They're gonna be
Big
in the
Ten
top-
championship
They're going to be
game.
in the top 3 when the rankings come out
And that
tomorrow.
doesn't mean nothing.
Doesn't mean
But
nothing.
you have them at number 4. They're not that good, but you put them at number 4.
But they're not. You can't. They got one loss. You can't put them at 12.
well, I mean,
Against-
you said
they're not that good.
not
I
that
don't think they're that good.
Against
Whose
Ohio
rankings are
State.
they?
I think they
Whose
lose.
rankings are they?
I think they lose first round.
Are
or
they-
first opportunity?
Are they Sean's rankings?
I
Wait a
don't
minute.
have a choice.
Why can't Sean put them at 11? They're Sean's rankings.
Because there's other teams with more losses. It
There's
doesn't make
Sean
sense.
Jenkins. You can do whatever you want.
Boise State only has 1 loss. Why don't you flip them? Put Boise State at 4 and Penn State at 12 or 11 or wherever you have them.
Didn't I have Notre Dame above them?
Maybe.
I think so.
You're going to tell me Penn State's not better than a team that lost to 6-6 Northern Illinois? Sean.
I don't. I'm
Yeah,
just
you
telling
had Notre Dame at 3.
Yeah,
Sean.
I'm just telling you.
I like Mr. Ohio State over here. His boys lost this week,
I had to drop them.
and he dropped them to number 6.
I had to drop them.
I think I put them down there 6, 7, or 8, somewhere around in there.
I put them lower.
10.
They ended up lower than that.
10.
You all have got to be kidding me. Indiana loses. Y'all put them at 13. Ohio State loses.
I didn't put them out. I didn't put Indiana out.
They were number 10 in our rankings after 1 loss to Ohio State, who's, I don't know if y'all have heard, they're a pretty daggone good team.
They just lost to the worst Michigan team they've had in forever. At home.
Oh, well.
And you know what the funny
Because
thing
they
is?
don't have a quarterback.
Because they don't have a freaking coach.
They don't have.
Whoa.
Well, look.
How do you
just said Kentucky fans would love to have
he
Ryan Day's
can't-
record. So which one is
he
it? Do you
cannot
want him? Is he a
coach.
good coach or is he
He
not?
cannot coach in a big game. He has 5
Penn
freaking-
State is a big game.
No, it's not. He has 5 NFL wide receivers on that team. And they said, let's try to outrun the ball. They didn't. They could have murdered Michigan. All they had to do is throw the ball.
To Jeremiah Smith.
There's 3 or 4 guys on that team will be in the NFL.
But when you have
wide receiver wise,
when you have Travion Henderson,
why are you trying to run the ball when you can't run the ball?
when you have Travion Henderson and Quinshon Junkins, they're just as good as the wide receivers.
But they didn't run the ball. They couldn't do it. They wanted to try to prove it because everybody goes, whoever runs the ball the most wins this game. Well, guess what? Michigan ran the ball the most, and they won that game. All they had to do, every time they threw the ball, they could move it down the field, but they never threw the ball.
What's
You
Ohio
can't
State's
stop
weakness?
Smith.
What's Ohio State's weakness on the field? What's their weakness?
Well, Saturday it was running the ball.
Okay. What do you need to run the ball?
Offensive line,
You know how many injuries they have on the offensive line?
you can't make those excuses. They're Ohio State. They're the best damn team in the country. I mean,
But
You
guess
and-
what?
You and your little buddy are going to laugh. I get it, but okay.
well, I'm just saying.
But wait a minute. Georgia's in the same predicament
And Georgia won.
because
They got a better coach.
Georgia does. No, this is what NIL is doing, though. There's no longer that depth because these kids that were going to Ohio State and Georgia, Alabama, Texas to sit the bench, they're not sitting the bench anymore. They're going to Marshall or Memphis
I
or
understand
they're
that
going to
completely.
Vanderbilt.
or Vanderbilt,
I understand
and they're
that.
playing automatically.
I'm just telling you, he tried to prove a point Saturday by running the ball when he didn't have to.
What's Michigan's strength?
Defense.
The defensive line. What's Ohio State's weakness? The offensive line. Those two
But they
match
didn't
up
even
perfect.
attempt to throw the ball. They could have thrown the ball and won the game easily.
You can't throw the ball if the defensive line's always getting
But-
pressure.
How many sacks did they have?
How many hurries did they have?
How many sacks did they have?
How many hurries did they have?
I don't know.
Exactly.
It
Sean.
wasn't.
You don't
They
know.
wasn't living in the backfield.
Did you watch a different game than I did?
No, I watched that game, but
There's
I
no
could.
way.
Michigan ran the ball, and Ohio State, all they had to do is throw the ball. They didn't even attempt to throw the ball.
I can't tell you how many sacks they had because sacks are generated in rushing in college. And hang on, I'll try to find it.
But if you all think that Ohio State's going to go into that tournament and run it,
No,
you're crazy.
never said that. Because the
Well, I
tournament,
mean, that's all you've said all year. You've got Ohio State all year. That's all you all said. Ohio State, Ohio State.
Will they face a better D line than Michigan? No.
Well, I mean,
Texas is the only D line that can compete with Michigan.
Tennessee's pretty good.
Tennessee's good, linebacker, secondary. Defensive line, they have one player on the defensive line, and I forget his name. He's on the edge. Can't think of his name right now.
good.
So you think Ohio State makes it to the finals?
I think Ohio State still has a great shot to win the championship.
Kind of depends on how everything falls. I mean, while we're talking about it, I know it's on a certain it's on a certain order here, but why don't we just see what our rankings are and what our brackets are and discuss where Ohio State is there and see if they can make it?
Idea.
That's damn straight. I want to run this damn ship.
Do that.
I'm the captain now.
That was a little aggressive. I don't think anybody called for that.
Number 12, South Carolina. 11,
Good
Arizona
Lord.
State.
Who voted for
Boise
South
State
Carolina?
at 10.
Who did vote for South Carolina?
Indiana at 9. Ohio State at 8. Tennessee at 7.
Now, I need an explanation before we go any further. Who voted for South Carolina?
They were not in my top 12.
I did.
You did, and you did. Why?
Did Neil?
They're the hottest team in football right now.
So you put South Carolina at 12, who has a head-to-head loss with Alabama, who you left
I
out.
put South Carolina at, I believe it was 13.
So they're out.
Well,
are they-
it depends on average.
I put them at 13.
Where'd you put them?
13. I didn't have them in.
I had them at 12.
So I didn't have them in. Where'd Neil have them?
Or to tell you.
Or did Neil send you rankings?
He did.
Okay.
Because if you
Where
had
did
them-
you have?
They probably got bumped because Arizona State moved up.
Where did you have Alabama, or did you have Alabama, Darren?
I did not.
I didn't either.
I don't think so.
See, I had Alabama at I have to look it up.
I was between Alabama and SMU as my final spot.
I think I have.
Well, you're not giving SMU any love at all, are you?
I think they're going to lose the ACC championship game, which means Clemson gets in, which means you're choosing between SMU, who has 2 losses, one being in conference championship, or an Alabama team.
See, I've got SMU.
I had South Carolina at 12. He had them at 11.
Oh, I had because I put Arizona State.
But still, 11, 12, not ranked. Where did Neil have them ranked?
I had Alabama
See,
at 12.
We had no vote. Neither one of us voted on Alabama. Did Neil vote on Alabama?
I didn't vote on Alabama either.
Yeah. I
Me
didn't.
and Sean
You did about the
didn't.
averages.
It's averages.
You didn't vote on Alabama at all in the top
No.
12?
I had
So
Alabama
that's what
at
pushed them in.
13, Wes had them at 12. Neil at 11. Sean had them at 13. Adam is the only one that did not vote for Alabama.
Because I ranked 12 teams. Why would I rank 13 teams? But it's the top 12.
Good point.
Did I do 13? I thought I only did 12 teams.
I think because I went with the 3 teams that were in.
Oh. Yeah, I think I only said 12.
I'm still trying to figure out how
13,
South
14,
Carolina's at
15
12.
They're hot. They're one of the best. They're one of the, playing some of the best ball in the country right
Alabama beat them head to head.
now. A long time ago.
Doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
Hey,
How can you have a 9-3 South Carolina team
We
in?
live in a world where they have said for years it's how you play going into the tournament.
No, this committee changes every single year.
You think they're going to not? Maybe they won't.
Listen, there's not a man in your family, if you can honestly sit here and tell me you think they won't push Alabama over South Carolina.
And they probably will.
Good.
But I'm just telling you.
South Carolina gets exposed in the playoff.
That's all they talk about is how the teams are playing at the end of the season. The wins count in November more than they do in September.
That's a basketball argument.
Which is why I think that SMU
You all think
is
the
going to.
committees
I think
are
SMU is going to roll Clemson.
I do too.
I've got SMU way up there in my rankings.
I think Clemson beats them.
I mean, it could happen.
In the bracket, that right there gives us 2 teams. Arizona State at the 11, Boise State at the 4.
Which is still, in my opinion, going to flip-flop. Arizona State, if they win the Big 12, will be in the 4 spot.
It's possible.
Possible.
Yeah.
I'll give you that. I mean, it's a reach because you look, Boise State's 10th on our rankings and Arizona's 11th.
Because Arizona State's still going to play BYU. And
they're playing Iowa State,
Yeah.
which is still number 16 ranked team.
I think one's 15 and one's 16, right?
Something like that.
Oh, I thought did BYU win?
They did, but they had already.
It didn't matter.
They'd already screwed themselves out. Iowa State had to lose.
Oh.
I don't know that they had the path that Colorado did, right? Colorado would have been in if Iowa State lost, right? No, BYU had to lose. Yeah.
Oh, that was just for Colorado.
Yeah.
Oh, gotcha.
I remember Iowa State held the cards for pretty much everybody.
Them and Houston. Houston
Houston
had to beat BYU, and Iowa State had to lose. If Iowa State would have lost, BYU would have been in instead. So,
all right, carry on.
All right. Ready for the next 6?
Yes.
SMU at 6, Georgia at 5, Notre Dame at 4, Penn State at 3.
They're
Texas at 2, Oregon at number 1.
Who's no good?
Penn State.
State.
They're not.
They're not good. Just consensus, we all think they're top 3 team, but they're not good.
Everybody's rankings. And that gives us the 1, 2, and 3. So there's your 5 conference champions. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 11.
And Arizona State won't be locked. That's not locked at the 12, right?
No, just
that 5th conference champion.
No, the 5th conference champions, wherever they fall in the rankings. So
But
they
it-
could be number 5. They could be number 12.
So
Yep.
the wild card in that is if Boise somehow manages to lose to UNLV and Tulane beats Army, Tulane probably jumps into that 12 spot.
Nah, I think UNLV does. You said Boise loses to UNLV.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tulane lost to Memphis.
Yeah, but I mean they're still playing for
Walking
their
in
conference
Memphis.
title.
It doesn't matter. UNLV's ranked. Tulane's not.
Tulane is still ranked.
They're
No,
not.
Did they drop?
they're out.
Well, yeah, they lost to Memphis.
Yeah, probably would be then.
They were last week, but they won't be this week.
You've got to. Hey, listen. You need to be rooting for UNLV.
You picked them.
I am rooting for them. I'm just saying. I
He had them in his 12, but they're not anymore.
yeah.
That's back when he was in Nebraska.
Well, I mean,
Wait, so did
you
you,
can't really pick them at 12 at this point because they're
Really?
not they're not there.
Darren, tell Sean who I had at number 12 in this week's rankings.
Let me go back and look. Actually, it's on here. Adam had Boise State.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
No, I didn't. I sent you a different text at 9 o'clock this morning.
Well, it was already done at that point. Video made and everything.
You can't make changes like that on the fly.
Send
At
them,
9 a.m.?
He did that yesterday.
you send them on Sunday.
I sent
I
it.
do the video on Sunday. UNLV,
That takes time to do that.
UNLV was his change.
I don't think.
And Iowa State. I put Iowa State at 11.
I don't.
I didn't even
I don't
see
think that UNLV can beat Boise. I wish they could, but I don't
See,
know.
you would have really screwed it up because that's two teams that's not in. You'd put South Carolina all the way up
So wait a
to
minute.
about the 9 or 10 spot.
Iowa State plays who?
Iowa State plays Arizona State.
So you think
I
Arizona
Iowa
State?
wins.
You think Iowa State goes in?
Arizona
Arizona
State's
State drops out.
Yep.
So here's
All
the
possible.
rest of it.
Gosh, and we just talked about. Did you just say? Well, who was it that said
Tennessee, Ohio State.
that Tennessee has a good line?
Well, I might.
Last week
I
they did.
might have actually known what the rankings were because I had to type them out. So yeah, I knew that part of it, but
Gosh, Penn State.
they would lose that game.
I don't think Penn State's in that spot, by the way.
I don't either.
But they're a horrible team.
No, that's what I'm telling you. They will lose that game to South Carolina.
No. Not with that defense.
No.
So Penn State, South Carolina, then moves on to play Boise.
I think Notre Dame is locked in as the 5 seed. I think it's
I do
a 100% lock unless Oregon loses the Big Ten championship game. If Oregon or Texas, I guess, Oregon and Texas lose, they can slide to the 5. Other than that, it's Notre Dame.
I agree with that.
Texas proved something to me this week.
Well, that was the other name that I saw for the Bears was the coach for Notre Dame.
Yeah, Marcus Freeman, I saw that.
That'll be a mistake. Nobody.
It's the Bears.
I mean, it's the Bears. I mean, it
no-
makes perfect sense.
Nobody
Wes.
jumps from college
Pull
and
it-
does
pull it-
very
pull it
well.
back up there.
Usually,
So, Texas with 2 losses, you think would fall to 5?
Yes.
That would be crazy if Georgia.
Georgia
if
is
that
gonna be
did
the 2.
play out like that.
Whoever wins the SEC is one of those top 2 teams.
Yeah. I just wonder if Texas can overcome their problems that they had against Georgia the first time around. I mean, they had a lot of turnovers that game.
Georgia's defense was a big reason for that.
Yeah.
And Georgia's getting healthy now. Kobe Young is going to be back for Georgia. Wide receiver that can actually separate.
which is makes a good point that Neil made earlier this week. Or this week, or over the weekend, because he said, "I wish it was the opposite way around. I wish the Army Navy game was this week. Conference championship games were next week. So those players have time to heal up a little bit more Give
Right.
them 2 weeks. Play the conference championship game. Then they'll have what? a week,
you
and
gotta
then
figure
start into the bowls.
They're speeding. They got to speed us up and get into the playoff thing.
Which, by the way, that is the last rankings we'll ever do for this season because the selection shows Sunday
After conference championship.
after conference championship this weekend. So Sunday we will know the official playoff rankings.
Yeah, Saturday's going to be.
I think I did mine right this time.
I was listening back to that today, and I was still trying to wrap my head around how you thought Georgia was going to beat Texas twice. But
Texas helped me
was
out this
still-
week because I think Texas is going to win. I think Texas now is going to win the SEC championship game.
So what I heard was after conference championship week, everybody sends me their rankings. Then next week when we look at it, it'll be
Because it'll change.
here's
So
what,
we
here's
could
what the
do
committee
one
said,
final. We could
here's
send
what
it.
the committee said,
Yeah.
and here's what we said,
Yeah,
But we would have to send it.
It would have to be early Sunday morning because
which is when you're supposed to send them because I do the video on Sunday night. We've established.
well, but the selection is on
and
Sunday
heaven
night.
forbid you make
Yeah.
2 changes.
Well, don't do it this time.
That's a lot. That's a lot of changing for a little 45-second.
Was I
video.
the only one that had Iowa State and UNLV?
Probably.
So it wouldn't change anything.
No, probably
No,
not.
what I'm saying is you doing that, taking 2 teams out, putting 2 here. I can tell you what it would have done.
It shouldn't have
You
changed
did.
anything.
Right, because I was the only one that had them in.
Yeah,
But he's taking 2 teams out that everybody had in.
yeah, but he didn't. He didn't have South Carolina, so that wouldn't have took them out.
Right.
You had Iowa State
It would only
Iowa
change to
State
Arizona State. It probably would have dropped Arizona State till 12,
at 11.
and it would have bumped South Carolina up to 11, probably.
Who shouldn't have even been in
UNLV.
because Alabama beat them head to head.
They won't be.
I don't think
Don't worry about
them really deserve to be in there, but somebody's got to go.
It's going to be pure chaos. If the ACC championship game goes the way I think it's going to go,
No, that's
it's a win.
chaos.
Well,
You're deciding between SMU and Alabama.
And a lot of people seem to think that South Carolina beat Clemson, and Clemson can knock South Carolina out by beating SMU.
But Clemson doesn't knock South Carolina out. Alabama knocks South Carolina out because Alabama beat South Carolina head to head.
I'm just telling you. I get your point,
The committee,
but you all have.
the committee all year has been consistent though. It's head to head
Yeah,
all year long in these rankings. This committee
It
has,
changed nothing.
yeah. I
didn't
didn't
think it
figure it
would.
would. I didn't figure it would.
but all year long this committee has shown every week when they release these rankings that if you lost to a team, you're going to be at least 1 spot behind them, no matter what. Especially if you got the same record.
I guess we'll see. Comes Sunday night. Do we want to talk about any of this other stuff, or just go on and pick the games?
Let's pick game.
Pick games.
Let's see.
I'm
Fantasy
gonna-
football playoffs.
I'm gonna
Don't
quit.
care.
I'm gonna quit making these notes. If you all,
No,
You
no,
don't
no,
want to
no,
talk
no.
about college basketball?
You just never know. Well, is it
That was good. Feast week was good. The Maui was great. The Players Era Invitational.
The Maui was great because Danny Hurley lost his mind 3 times, and now he's coming out and saying we're never going to do that
I'm not
again.
playing
I'm never
season
playing
tournaments
any of
ever
those
again.
Listen,
3 games in a
before
row
you-
again. Blah blah blah.
Before you hate on Hurley, Matt Norlander, who does the Eye on College Basketball podcast, came out, I guess it was Sunday night because I listened to it today. And he said that he has talked to multiple high-level coaches who are on that same train of thought that they won't play any 3-day tournaments like that. They'll just go play in these invitationals or these one-off showcases with these other highly ranked teams because it's just too much as far as because they're going to have to pay these players. So they're spending way too much money on travel. So they're going to try to cut travel costs by just sticking out of these Maui Invitationals and tournaments like that.
And I understand that point of view.
who won
It
the
just
Maui,
comes-
by the way.
Auburn.
Yeah. It just comes off after showing what he showed on the sidelines and then him saying that, it comes off as
Sore loser.
poor form.
Yeah.
100%.
So, it's kind of like if I was the athletic director, I'd have been like, just Danny, just we won't do it anymore. Don't worry about it. Just keep it to yourself, though.
But that's not his style.
No, it's not. It's not. But, other than that, college basketball's gotten off to a really great start. The good teams are good. The teams that are supposed to be good are good.
Which makes college basketball good.
100%.
And
people go, your blue bloods are good. Look, I put about 8 teams in blue bloods at this point now, and they're all good, and that makes college basketball good.
Really good.
Yeah.
The rankings today, what was it?
Which, by the way,
Kansas was 1.
Shows you that NIL is working in college basketball too.
Yep. What was it? Kansas 1, Auburn 2, Tennessee 3, UK 4.
Yeah.
Duke was 9 after a loss.
Yeah.
After losing to Kansas. They were ranked number 9. Because everything else
Because they
happened.
lost to Kansas.
Right. By 3.
Yeah.
Happens. Duke's losses are to the number 1 team and number 4 team.
Yeah.
They'll be all right. And they get the number 2 team Wednesday night.
That's a pretty good. That's a pretty good start to the season.
Auburn?
It is at home. Yeah. Last year we went to Arkansas, got absolutely destroyed.
No, you wouldn't this year.
Wouldn't this year?
I beat him to it.
Gosh, they're hard to watch.
They're hard to watch.
They really are.
Because I was watching somebody break it down, and it's the same thing that he did at UK. Illinois exploited what they're bad at and ran that same set over and over and over and over and over again, and Calipari never changed.
Big Z's brother's
I've heard
pretty good.
somebody say before
yeah.
that Calipari wasn't very good at coaching. I don't remember who that was.
I don't think anybody on this podcast ever said Calipari was a great game coach.
No. That's why he normally had John Robick sitting beside of him.
He's not a good X's and O's coach. But now
get rid of John Robick and
Unfortunately, recruiting doesn't win ball games.
He's a top-notch recruiter.
Come on, Wes.
It kind of depends on what your recruiting class is like. Because if you get a recruiting class like they had in 2012, it's not hard to win.
It's not hard to win because you have an Anthony Davis and.
Duke's gonna be good. Cooper Flagg is that dude.
Yeah, I ain't worried about him.
And they've got talent around him. I hate saying that about Duke. Believe me, I do.
Let's pick them.
Knipple was 0 for 8 from 3 against Kansas.
Who?
Knipple.
Take your shot, Daron.
And we lost by 3.
Had to do because
Right.
Knipple.
Game number 1.
We're hammered.
Friday night, 7:00. Western Kentucky versus Jacksonville State.
Say it right. Jack State.
I'm pretty sure that's it.
Whatever.
Jacksonville.
Rich Rod, go on.
That's CBS. Go to ESPN.
Why are you using CBS?
It's not CBS. It's Yahoo.
That's even worse.
Because it's easy to read.
That's not easy to read.
Jack State.
You just got to adjust your eyes so you can see it and
See, I
look
can't
through
even
the
get
bottom of
this.
your glasses. Believe me, I know all this. It's great now.
You have to go to Seymour to get to that NCAA football. That's crazy.
No, you don't. Not if you have it daggone saved to the top as one of your favorites.
Yeah, I don't know how to do that.
Well, that's not.
He knows how to use Google Calendar, though.
Not really. Anyways,
Sean Red.
I don't want to pick this game. They just played last week. That's kind of crazy.
Let's go Tops.
If you don't,
I'm taking the Tops.
Wes, you're not even picking yet.
Doesn't
Let's
matter.
see.
We're going in order. That's right. I'm in second place. Let me link.
Wait a minute. Why didn't we do the standings again? 2 weeks in a row we didn't do the
I
standings.
still am at top of the standings with a 16-point lead.
Commanding lead.
Commanding lead.
Heading into the playoffs.
Wesley was 79.
From the dungeon.
From the dungeon.
You were way back at the start of the season.
Sean has come from the dungeon to the top, back to the dungeon. Adam and Neil
Consistency,
tied,
boys. Consistency.
Adam and Neil tied with 75. Neil still holds a 2-point lead over Sean, even though he didn't pick last week. All he said was give me the opposite of what everybody else did.
gosh. I didn't even put that together.
He did
Give
pick.
me the opposite of the majority.
Yeah,
And
he
Sean's-
did technically pick.
Sean is in the bottom going, please, sir, may I have a crumb of bread, please, sir?
He just took the
I'm
opposite.
down
so
in
he
the
got
cellar.
Kansas State because we all picked Iowa State.
I have fell in the
He
well,
didn't get that one, but
and I'd like to have
a
some
couple of them
food,
that
sir.
he got because of the opposites. So that's why I made
Sean
sure that he
has
gave me his picks this morning.
2-point deficit to a team that technically
Didn't play
took a
last
goose
week.
egg last week.
Yeah. Anyways, Jack State
Oh,
lost on a
anyway.
last second field
Let's
goal.
change the subject.
Jacksonville State lost on a last second field goal last week to Western Kentucky. I think they reverse fortunes and they win this week.
Neil?
Hang on, let me get to his picks.
Oh, he picked this week, so
Neil
he's going to make
is
it.
going to take WKU because Sean
Yes.
took Jacksonville.
Yeah, he did. He took Western Kentucky.
You mentioned that game last week and how Western Kentucky won on a last second field goal. That game was at Western Kentucky. It was on the top. They're going down to Jacksonville, Alabama for this game. And if I know Rich Rod, he's got a daggone vinegar taste in his mouth.
Wait a minute.
right
Wait a
now.
minute. The conference championship game is at Jacksonville State's field.
So these lower conferences, they typically just give it to the team with the better record. Conference record, they host the playoff game. It will be the same in the Marshall, Louisiana game. It will be the same way. It's at Louisiana. Give me Rich Rod and Jack State. Although, we'll know if Rich Rod is a serious candidate for West Virginia real quick after this game. If West Virginia hasn't hired Jimbo by Friday.
That's true.
If they lose, you know Rich Rod's checked out. He's out the door. Jack State all the way.
I'm going Hilltoppers.
Well, I mean, it wasn't your pick.
Wes has got to pick.
You already
Oh,
picked
yeah.
the Toppers. You,
You
said
already
go
picked the
Toppers.
I did. I did.
That's why
They're gonna ride. They're gonna ride Uncle Mo.
anybody taking that as their dog.
I don't know yet. We got to get through our
Super
picks.
dog or however y'all want to name it.
We'll do that at the bottom. That's what that's for.
Sean's getting crazy today.
It's a spreadsheet.
Yeah, there's a column at the bottom for the dog picks.
Do it the damn way I told you.
It just says I need a dog, though. For
What
kickoff
kind of
time,
dog
I
you
need
want?
a dog.
Beagle? You want a beagle, Jack Russell?
No. All right. Friday night, 8 o'clock, UNLV at Boise State.
This game is played at Boise State. Just for your reference, Wes.
Yep. I want to stick
The
with
blue
Boise.
field matters.
It does.
It doesn't matter.
I took Boise. Neil also took Boise.
I'm taking the running Rebels. Give me UNLV. Why would you not take UNLV when you had them at the start of the year? In the 12.
Things change.
Sean, you could be right about this from the get-go, though.
Who am I taking?
Oh, you're taking Boise. That's the Michael Myers stance all day.
Daron?
I, too, am taking the Broncos.
So I was the only one who took UNLV.
I'm not the one that put UNLV in my preseason top 12.
You're not. It
The
doesn't
only one that put them in their
Look,
top 12.
If they would have beat Boise the first time around,
it was a 5-point
it would
game.
have been different.
It was just 5 points.
I don't know why you're so tore up about it.
It's a 5
Gives you an opportunity to make a point on all of us.
5-point loss at home, and this is a chance to plant their flag on the blue field.
Right.
And ruin their season. Oh my gosh.
Tulane at Auburn, or I'm sorry,
Auburn?
Auburn or
Army. Sorry, Tulane at
Last I
Auburn.
checked,
Army.
in the SEC.
Said it again. Tulane at Army, 8
Good.
o'clock Friday night. Is that going to be at
At
Army?
West Point.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I'm going to roll with Tulane here.
This shows Tulane is ranked 17th still. God,
I don't know nothing. I just roll with
don't.
it anymore.
New rankings ain't come out yet.
Yeah, that goes by the
That goes by
coaches poll.
no, that goes by college football playoff rankings. Once they hit the college football playoff rankings, they don't go by AP poll or anything anymore.
Right.
So that was what they were ranked last week in the college football playoff rankings.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
That'll change tomorrow.
Neil took Army.
Oh,
He's going to be all he can be.
That's interesting.
trying to see what.
You know what?
It's
Hoorah.
not your pick.
I'm going to go up there and change that. So give you the.
I'm not used to being so far up in the standings.
Wes is used to picking first.
Right.
I'm trying to see. They didn't play earlier in the year.
Nope.
Huh. Give me. Shoot far.
Shoot fur.
It's just two teams.
I know, but it's a big one. Give me Tulane.
And Wes, I guess, is going with Army. You changing that?
He's already yelled hoorah. Which is the Marines.
God, that would have been that's man.
What
I don't
academy is
know.
the Marines? Do they not have?
Screw it, I'm taking Army.
Naval Academy.
Huh?
The Marines are in the Department of the Navy. They go to the Naval
gotcha.
Academy.
You are taking Army?
Yeah.
Okay. Daron.
And I'll follow the pattern and I'll take Tulane. Every other person.
Iowa State versus Arizona State.
In Arlington, Texas, Jerry's World. Game is at noon, so there might be a little glare.
Hope they don't.
Sun's gonna be in her eye.
Sun's gonna be out.
hope the roof don't fall on them.
Who was it? Did you all see somebody put up a
It was
video of that?
yeah, it was at the Baylor in Kansas. Baylor put up.
There are curtains in there. They just refuse to use them.
Baylor put up the glare on the little
Yeah, they put up the
jumbotron in
shot
the Kansas.
from the opposite end zone of Jerry's World.
and,
Sun glare on
and
the
Kansas
video board.
Kansas
Yeah.
missed the field goal.
Yeah. Yeah, there are curtains there for like concerts and stuff like that. He just refuses to do it for football games. So, I mean, be stupid. Lose football games, you know.
It'd be different if it was other teams complaining. It's your own team.
Right. I'm taking the Sun Devils. Neil is taking Iowa State. Adam apparently is taking Iowa State because
Neil is not making any sense. How am I the only person to put Iowa State in the rankings if Neil picks Iowa State to win the Big 12? They have to be in the playoff if they win the Big 12.
I'll explain that to you afterwards.
Wesel,
Wes.
No, it's not Wes's pick. It's my pick.
you already did.
Iowa State. We know that you're taking Iowa State. You're not going to pick Arizona State now. You literally just had a hissy fit over it.
Oh, I thought you said Iowa State.
He said, "Why am I the only one picking Iowa State?"
No, I say, why was I the only one that put Iowa State in the playoff rankings?
Well, in order for that to happen, you have to
You
pick
have
Iowa
to
State
pick
right
them
here.
today.
Is it my pick or is it Sean's pick? It's my
I'm
pick.
just telling you. So Arizona State then?
I'm taking Rocco Beck and the Cyclones.
And I'm taking Skateboat.
Scatterbo.
Whatever.
That's how you pronounce it.
Did you say skateboat?
Skateboat.
Daron is also going with the Tridents up.
If it's not broken. It may
It
have
may
broke
have-
when they
may
tried
have
to
broken
plant it
the
in the
turf.
field.
Ohio at Miami of Ohio.
In Detroit, Michigan. Ford Field. It's been the home of the MAC championship game forever.
And they barely fill the lower bowl, I'm sure.
But gosh, nothing says MAC more than Miami of Ohio versus Ohio.
This is true.
I'm going with Miami of Ohio. Neil is also going with Miami.
Bobcats versus Redhawks.
This game was played in October 19th, and Miami won 30-20. Something tells me the Bobcats get revenge. Give me the Bobcats. Actually, not so fast. Give me the Redhawks, because I just remembered a stat that showed Miami of Ohio's defense is so stupid stingy. So give me the Redhawks.
Is that you picking Miami again?
Yeah. Wait a minute. Or does a hawk go?
That one.
Okay.
That one.
You don't want to pick Miami last week, aren't you?
Damn straight.
And he nailed it.
Yeah. Daron?
You know what that Hawk's going to do on Saturday?
Get eaten by a bobcat?
When it crunches in the mouth of that bobcat.
Bobcats can't fly, though. Redhawks can. That's a discrete advantage.
But they can run really fast.
Georgia versus Texas.
Here's where people
This game was played
lose friendships.
in the ATL.
Texas.
Yeah. In
Going
the
with
ATL.
Texas.
Basically,
Home game.
backyard of
Neil is going with Texas.
The Bulldogs.
Adam is going with Georgia.
What's that coming down the track?
The Mean Machine in the red and black.
Ain't nothing finer in the land than a drunk, obnoxious Georgia fan. Go Dogs.
You didn't think I'd know that, did you?
I was. You're on TikTok enough. I know you knew that one.
Wes?
He's hooking them.
Hook 'em.
Darren? Georgia.
Hook 'em.
Oh, wow. That's surprising. So
No, because
Georgia's
like Adam
winning that
said,
game.
If my bracket prediction
You have to have
stays
Texas
true,
win.
I have to go with Texas.
Yep. That's true.
And I had Georgia at the beginning of the season win the SEC. So you know who I picked? Georgia, because it's what you do when you pick somebody at the beginning of the season.
So Marshall leaves the MAC and just winds up still in the championship game in the Sun Belt.
They haven't been the MAC for a long time.
Long time.
I know. I'm just saying they were a
Long time.
staple there for a long time. So
They even had a CUSA championship appearance.
Marshall versus Louisiana. Is
And
this going to be at Louisiana?
It is.
Yeah, I'm going to take Louisiana.
I'm looking to make sure that I didn't tell you wrong.
Neil
Yep,
is
it's at
taking
Louisiana.
Marshall.
Oh, the fighting Charlie Huffs.
Adam.
Pains me to do this, but I'm going with the Raging Cajuns.
Wesley.
I'm going to go with Uncle Mo again, and I think it's going to be the Thunder and Herd.
We are.
Marshall. There you go.
All right. Penn State versus Oregon. Doesn't matter. Oregon.
It's in Indianapolis.
Neil also with Oregon.
Do you think Oregon can make a East Campus and just build one somewhere.
Training
You're getting ready to in
facility.
Indianapolis.
Right.
They're going to build a training facility somewhere around Iowa. It's right in the middle.
How funny would it be if Penn State, who is not a good team,
Not a good team. They don't play good games.
how funny would it
Big
be
games.
if they walk into Indianapolis and walk out Big Ten champs?
I'd be stunned.
And if you walk out Big Ten champs, does that give you the 2?
I think they'd be the number 1 if they beat Oregon.
I don't think so.
You're going to move
It depends
them
on the
over
SEC.
the SEC champion?
Yeah, depends on the SEC. Actually, I don't think it does. Georgia or Texas, either one would jump Penn State, I think.
I think Georgia or Texas, whoever
That would
wins
indicate that
game.
Penn State's not that good then. If that
It would
happened.
indicate Penn State's the number 2 team in the nation. That's pretty daggone good. Last I checked.
You think Georgia, if they win the SEC,
At 11-2,
jumps a Penn State that beat the only undefeated team left in the country?
yep. Sure do.
I don't see that happening.
I don't see Oregon as a good team.
So you're picking Penn State.
I'm not picking Penn State.
He already had it wrote down.
himself.
I'm looking at common opponent.
So you're picking Oregon.
Oregon beat Wisconsin 16-13 at Wisconsin. 2 weeks before, Penn State beat Wisconsin 28-13 at Wisconsin.
Well, I mean, let's use Wisconsin as a grading point.
Well, I mean, you compared them to Wyoming last week, so let's just go ahead and throw that out. Oh, gosh, this one's tough.
Well, you can only pick one of the 2 teams, and you said you wasn't picking Penn State. So
Not yet. I'm still in my analysis.
He's not picking Penn State, but he ain't picking Oregon either.
makes my head hurt.
Can I pick Ohio State?
Nope. You can pick Michigan.
Being a West Virginia fan, I can't bring myself to pick Penn State. Give me Oregon.
You're going to die if Penn State wins that game.
Yeah.
Or will I?
Spicy duck dippers.
Clean slate.
That's the only one we've had to sweep on.
Yep.
Clemson versus SMU. Give me the SMU.
It is at Charlotte, North Carolina, Bank of America Stadium.
Gosh dang it. Are you kidding me?
What?
I mean, another one in their backyard.
That's where the ACC championships played.
What happened? They used to do it at the Orange Bowl. When did they quit doing that?
It's been Bank of America for at least last
Where's the
5,
Orange
6
Bowl?
years.
Where's the Orange
Miami.
Bowl? Oh, yeah.
Neil picked Clemson.
I'd much rather have it at the Orange Bowl.
Did Neil have Clemson in his rankings?
I believe so. Somebody did.
I did.
No. You had him at 9. Nobody else had him.
So that's 2 times. He has picked somebody to win the game, but not had him in the
He
playoffs.
changed his mind, just like you did on a couple. So he's changed his mind, but he knew it was too late for Daron. So
It was too late.
That's what it was.
It was
That's
too
what
late.
it was. I wasn't
That's what it
thinking.
was. Because he did send me his yesterday. Normally he's a Monday afternooner.
So obviously you're going with Clemson.
Yeah, I'm going with Dabo.
Wes is going with SMU. Because you had SMU up there, right?
go Stings.
It's kind of a sick horse.
And now, Sean, it's time. Are you going to be a hero? Are you going to
Say that a hero can save us.
I'm not going to stand here and wait?
Uh-oh.
Or are you going to go,
Um,
I saw it.
yeah. breaking news. The Montgomery County boys Indians just take their first loss of the season. 71-57.
Girls did win.
Way to go, girls. That's okay. They don't have a key piece yet.
Coming around Christmas when Santa Claus comes.
Oh. Ching, 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 ching. I got to break the bells out again this year.
You know, the crazy part about it is like, I really need to take an atomic dog to have.
Why would you not take an atomic dog?
Because any of these atomic dogs are going to go opposite of what I picked on the games. That's what's funny.
You know what? I need to make a bunch of. I
think that the chances of this being an atomic dog are better than any of the others, even though it's not what I don't know. Give me Georgia as an atomic dog. And yes, I know I picked Texas, but that's minus 1 point for plus 9. So,
But that's what you get when you're sitting in the sailor and you get to pick first. You're allowed to do that.
Neil took Clemson as an atomic dog.
I was not expecting.
Me to take Georgia?
I was not.
I think it's the one that's most logical.
Well, yeah, of course.
I will take.
Give me Georgia for the block, Chuck.
I will take Atomic Dog, Iowa State over Arizona State.
Everybody going to take an atomic dog swinging for Daron.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Unless I'm
There's
allowed.
not enough- there's not
unless
enough
I'm
games.
allowed to go back and pick against Daron on every game.
That would be the only way.
Can I do that? Would you all be okay with that?
What?
He wants to take an opposite pick of everything that Daron had and then swing for an atomic dog.
I don't think it works that way.
Why not?
And there is 1, 2. You got 12-point opportunity. That's it. I told y'all Daron pretty much had it locked up. Unless he takes a hero and misses.
Well,
We still have playoffs.
that's true.
Still got playoffs.
I'm taking Western Kentucky as an atomic dog.
Oh, well, we don't have to worry about that then. All right, Daron.
Golly. Sorry. In advance. I think our Christmas tree might melt here in just a second.
Gosh almighty.
We didn't put in our word of the day. That would have been a good group to put in our word of the day. Just go, "Wah!"
9 games is too much.
Too much.
I'm going
Actually, it's technically 10 games.
with my number 4 seed.
Shmoo?
I'm going to take Boise State as an atomic dog.
Oh, that's a good pick. I didn't
Number
even,
11 versus number 22, but Boise is the 4-point dog.
4-point dog?
Yep.
Boise is?
No shit.
I was going to say, I didn't
I read
see
that wrong. Never mind.
So you're going hero, Boise.
No, I'm not trading. No.
Yeah.
I'm
I'll
not
go
trading
hero.
Bucky Irving for Dobbins and Javante Williams. No, decline.
Javante Williams having a good game or something tonight?
I don't know. He does have a touchdown, but decline.
Host.
And that's it for another episode. What?
I mean, this has been a marathon episode.
We have wore him out. That thing turned to 9. He was like,
Well, you were talking fantasy, and I had gotten a text from Trey, so I wanted to see if it was anything important. So it was not.
"Oh, Luke got hurt. Apparently, that ain't good."
Yeah, that's not good. All right, guys. Well, another exciting edition of the From Corner to Corner podcast episode. I don't even remember now. Anyway,
YouTubers,
309.
subscribe to YouTube, subscribe to Facebook, like, share, lick our page and on Facebook and that's not the way we really needed to end the show.
Well, you said
Sean,
lick the page.
lickety.
Congratulations to Kristen Ricker for winning 2
Woohoo!
passes to Menifee County basketball.
Yep, absolutely.
If that's what she wants to pick.
Unless she wants to gift them to somebody else. But I highly doubt that's going to happen.
All right, guys. We'll catch you guys next week.
Stay safe, friends.